Where do comic books come from? Do they come from fairies and goblins? No. They come from an average, ordinary comic book store, just like this one. First, the comic book store owner carefully and meticulously checks off each comic book on his list, also known as an invoice. If it is a lucky day for the comic book store owner, he will receive everything on his list. But this rarely happens because the comic book distributor in which he receives his comic books is usually on crack. Next, each comic book is stacked alphabetically and one by one placed in a safe comic book plastic bag. This is a long and laborious, tedious job, but the comic book store owner does it with a smile, knowing the happy face he will get to see the next day when you receive your comic book safe and protected from harm. Oh, what is this? What is the comic book store owner doing, you may ask? Well, the comic book store owner is now placing each protected comic book in a folder with a person's name. These are names of people who have requested the comic book store owner to hold his comic books until a later date. The comic book store owner does this as a courtesy, in the hopes that the person who did the requesting returns in a timely manner to acquire their comic books so that the comic book store owner does not get stuck with them and that he can eat that day. Finally, the comic books that were not inserted in folders by Faith are placed on the new comics wall, facing outward for easy viewing and certain choosing. And this is where comic books come from.